Hi everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar. Today is the official launch of Nimble CRM at SherWeb for reseller and customers. Very exciting to have this event. We're working on that for a couple of months with Nimble and a selected number of partners that are early adopters, and very exciting to have this presentation today. I'm Cyril Courée. I'm going to be your host today. I'm product manager at SherWeb for Dynamics 365 and business apps. I've always been working in IT and very exciting about new technology. So very happy to be the product manager looking at this product today. With me, I have Jon Ferrara, CEO of Nimble. Actually, you probably know this person. He was the voice of the Goldmine CRM. That was a very successful CRM solution earlier, and really is the one driving the vision of Nimble. So he will, in this session, share with you the vision and what they are doing with this product. We also have Rosalind. She's a SherWeb partner. So those one are really, they are an MSP, but they're also a Dynamics partner. They have been very active in the early adopter, and they will share with us their experience and how they successfully equip some of their customers. And then we have Kevin Turner, that is the responsible really of the development of the partner and of the channel. He's been very active with us. Thank you, Kevin, for all the help you did to get this product run. So before to start, when I look at the attendees, some of you are not yet a SherWeb partner. So just really giving you a quick presentation of who we are. SherWeb, we're really a value-added cloud distributor. We were born in the cloud in 1998. As a partner, we're really a specialist in the hosting solution. We have been very successful to really host Exchange. So when Office 365 came in the market, we were ready and we get this hypergrowth. We are now, we have in our network over 5,000 partners and we manage over 50,000 organizations. We have over 700 employees, and with our partners, we are the biggest reseller of Office 365 and Dynamics 365 in Canada, and we are in the top 5 in US. Most of our employees are certified, Microsoft certified. That make us to have over 9 gold competencies. And we have this amazing number of the Net Promoter Score. So for the one that they don't know it, it's a number that represents the quality of your support. It's really a survey that we send for a customer to know if they will promote our product or not. So that's really a very short version of who is SherWeb, and we're now going to jump in the subject that is Nimble. So Jon, I will share with you the presenter, and you can show us your screen and run through this presentation.
Fantastic. Cheryl, thank you so much for the opportunity to get in front of your partners to talk about the value of Nimble for not only themselves, but also for their customers. As Cyril said, my name is Jon Ferrara. I'm the CEO of Nimble and founder of a product called Goldmine that was Outlook and Salesforce before either existed. So what is Nimble? At the core of Nimble is a really amazing relationship manager. And the R in CRM actually stands for relationships. But in reality, it's a reporting platform for most people. And what's missing in today's businesses is a team relationship manager. And at the core of Nimble, that's what it is. And what we're helping to do is transform the billions of people around the world from spreadsheets and email into a team relationship manager. There's 225 million global businesses, less than 1% use any CRM. That's a blue ocean opportunity for every partner listening to this. And the fact that Nimble integrates so easily with not just Office, but Dynamics and over 100 plus SaaS business apps, it's an opportunity for you to go into every sale that you have an opportunity to sell into, even if they don't have Office 365, because Nimble's a Trojan horse into businesses. So for every Office 365 sale, you should be selling a copy of Nimble on top, even if they have an existing CRM. It fills the gap between Office and Dynamics, but also helps grow customers into Dynamics customers. And so our goals today is to talk a little bit about Nimble, how it's different, how it adds value to Office customers, how it's a gateway to Azure and Dynamics, and how you can go ahead and make money using it. So let's talk about relationships for a second. I really believe that relationships are critical to your business success, and that what you need to be able to do is to stand out as a trusted advisor to your prospects and customers. And the way that you do that is you earn their trust, and you do that on a daily basis. And I think that the biggest problem that people have today is managing those relationships. And that's why most people do it in spreadsheets or in email. And most CRMs take time to implement, and they're complex and they're expensive. And that's why people don't do it. But the reality is that for most people, the CRM is used for prospects and customers, and what's missing is a team relationship manager for the rest of the company. And if you do sell a CRM into a business, you also need to sell sales intelligence and sales enablement email tracking. Did you know that Microsoft used to give away a copy of Inside View with every single copy of Dynamics? Because business intelligence is critical to engagement. And that's why Nimble is so powerful, because it delivers sales intelligence and sales enablement templated email tracking. So when you sell a CRM, you don't have to go sell dozens of other tools in order to do that, because salespeople need tools in order to engage, and they can't use the company's market automation system in order to engage in a one-to-one way. And that's why the blend of sales intelligence, CRM, and sales engagement email tracking is so powerful. This is the slide that says it all. Like I said, 99% of the businesses out there don't use any CRM. They live in email, spreadsheet, and other tools. Yet every business has contacts. Whether they're using Office or G Suite or iCloud or whatever they're using, they have email, contacts, and calendar. And in that business, there's separate islands of information. And then every business has some business app. They might have MailChimp or Xero or QuickBooks or some combination of sales, marketing, customer service, and accounting. Nimble goes in and unifies all the contacts from all those places, and then enriches them with people and company data, and then works back in those applications. And the beauty is, because Nimble is based on Azure and integrations with common data services and Power BI are coming soon, we become a gateway to not only Azure, but ultimately to Dynamics, and I'll demonstrate that in my demo. And so the great thing about Nimble is that you sell Nimble on top of Office, you immediately provide value and a team relationship manager for that business that unifies all their contacts. But then you can go back in and upgrade them to Dynamics, do consulting on Power BI, Flow, Power Apps, using common data services to unify their data into other data systems you build into Azure. And you can see how you will make $10 on every Nimble dollar that you do when you do this right. And so what Nimble does, it enables you to go in, and because we have the two-way sync built into it, you can synchronize to their front office and back office tools that they may already be using if you sold them Dynamics or Business Central. And then Nimble then unifies Office contacts into Dynamics and into Business Central and into everywhere they're prospecting. And like I said, I'll demonstrate that for you. Because of the value that we provide in that we unify contacts from all those disparate places and then let you work wherever you work, Nimble's been recognized around the globe as a simple, smart solution. And I think our key fit is solopreneurs and teams of, say, 2 to 50. Sweet spot is 2 to 25 of users of the platform. And the core transformative things that Nimble delivers is the auto magic enrichment of people and company data. I'll demonstrate that. The ability to hover on any name, anywhere, even in a business article, and get the email and contact info you need to engage. A dashboard that provides a clear view of what you need to do. The ability to message at scale. And then the ability to then work wherever you work, including inside of Office 365 and Dynamics. I won't toot our horn anymore regarding awards, but I do want to talk about the fact that we've built integrations over the past 5 years into the key products that Microsoft sells, including Office, Outlook Mobile, Outlook Desktop, Dynamics, Azure, Edge, Teams, Skype, but also relationships with the people, not only with the leadership on down in one commercial partner, but also with the field salespeople, the distributors, and the partners in the field. And we're all about helping you grow. And I'll talk a little bit more about the partner focus that we have when we go ahead and get into the demo. So the core thing that every business has is they have contacts. And those contacts might be inside of Office 365, but I'm sure that you go into situations where they're using G Suite as well. The beauty of Nimble is that we unify the contacts that you're connecting to, the conversations that you're having, and the activities that you're driving into a team relationship manager, regardless if you're using Office or G Suite. And then what we do is we map the identity of those people and companies and then bring the data down and build a digital dossier that gives you who they are, where they're from, where they work, what they're influential in, as well as synchronize every interaction that you and the team have on email, calendar, and social. And then we work back in the places that you work. So when you plug Nimble's plugin into Office 365, you'll see a button here inside of your email. And when you hit that Nimble button, you'll go ahead and get this contact record that gives you the background of people and companies, and then gives you the history of interactions that you and the team have had on email, calendar, and social. But most importantly, we give you the ability to follow up and follow through right wherever you're working. And I think that's one of the key reasons we all fail is we don't follow up and follow through. And that's because we have to go to the CRM to log those calls and to log those notes. And that's why we don't do it. And that's why Nimble lives where you work. And we do that not just inside of your Office 365, we do it in the calendar, we do it in the contacts. Basically, you turn Nimble on anywhere that you work, and Nimble will automatically bring up that record or build a record on anyone, anywheres. We do it inside of Dynamics, so we bring Office contacts into Dynamics. And because we bidirectionally synchronize contacts from Office and Dynamics and over 100 plus SaaS business apps, we then enable you to work wherever you work. So if you're out prospecting a new person, you could easily go ahead and bring up their record if it exists in Nimble, or if they don't exist, Nimble will build records anywhere, even off of a string. So if I'm prospecting this guy, Satish, all I need to do is highlight his name, and Nimble will go ahead and build a record making the suggestions of the company and contact information. And then if I want his phone number or email, all I need to do is give Nimble first name, last name, company, domain name, and it'll go ahead and give me that contact info. And when I add that contact into Nimble, that contact is automatically added into whatever SaaS business app you decide in the workflow. And so that's an example of how Nimble works with you wherever you work, inside of your email, even if it is G Suite or iCloud. And so what that means is that you can sell Nimble into any business account, even if they have a competing product like Salesforce. Imagine somebody calls you up to consult with them. They have G Suite and Salesforce. Today you walk away. Not anymore. Because with Nimble, you can sell Nimble on top as a layer to unify their G Suite, their Salesforce, and whatever apps they have like QuickBooks, etc. And then they will naturally grow into Office customers because of our integrations with Power BI, Flow, Power Apps, Common Data Services. They will naturally want to get the key benefits that they get from being an Office customer, and eventually you can upgrade them into Dynamics. And when you do, Nimble then works inside of their Dynamics system with them. And so basically that's how Nimble is a simple CRM for Office and a gateway into Dynamics. I want to quickly demonstrate how Nimble works wherever you're working. And even if I'm inside of social, I could still use the Nimble widget to bring up records. So basically what Nimble does is Nimble allows me to build or bring up contacts wherever I am working. And any contact that I put into Nimble will automatically go back into my CRM. And so that's why Nimble is one of the market leaders in not just CRM, but also inside of sales intelligence. So you don't have to go out and buy things like Inside View or other tools. And we have a market leader in email tracking and templating. So basically what I could do is I could easily send a templated trackable email, whether I'm sending that as a single template from a record like this, or with Nimble, you could build segments of contacts. And this is how I prepared for Microsoft Inspire a couple years ago, is I basically imported a Twitter list of influencers from the previous year's conference. I then segmented 200 people with a simple templated message. This email was sent from my email to their email. I got a 50% open rate. I scheduled 25 meetings, resulting in Microsoft signing a reseller agreement with Nimble to sell Nimble with Office 365. And so if you look at the key things that we're hearing from our partners is that Nimble is a tremendous solution for partners to enable you to scale, not only to digitally transform your business, but to also digitally transform your customers. And I think that you need to transform yourself before you can transform your customers. And that's what Roz is going to talk about. She's going to talk about how they have used Nimble to transform themselves and other customers. And I know that you are like this partner that did this webinar with us recently, where you yourself use a number of disparate tools today. Maybe it's ConnectWise, AutoTask, Zero, etc. And Nimble will go ahead and unify all that into a cohesive whole for yourself. And so with that, I'd love to go ahead and pass this over to you, Roz, to go ahead and take it away.
Okay. So just waiting for the deck to be handed over. Let me just share my screen for everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. So good morning, everybody. So thank you both SherWeb and Nimble for asking me to speak this morning for a little bit about our experience as trying Nimble as an early adoption product into our suite of solutions. So can move to the next slide. So Amaxa is 11 and a half years old, and we've seen a lot of changes in technology during that period of time. You know, one thing we like to say is we're very much about the long-term relationship, which is why CRM is such an important part of what we offer to customers. We really try to think about the long-term relationship and match what their long-term goals and needs are, rather than just the immediate sale, as much as we would love the immediate sale straight away. We always step in by, especially when it's somebody who's saying, you know, the same challenges that most businesses have about customers and lead generation and how to make sure their customers find them or their potential customers find them. So we always look at business processes, the technologies they're using, the challenges they're currently experiencing, and then work with them to come up with a plan. And also really looking at cost-effective licensing. Are they getting the best out of that investment they're making? And also, you know, our expertise is primarily on the Microsoft platform. We do some other offerings when customers request them, but usually from a recommendation point of view, we will lead with a Microsoft-centric perspective. So we were very interested when the SherWeb team asked us to give Nimble a go. We use Dynamics 365 internally and have used it for about probably 7 years now. So the immediate reaction to Cyril was, oh, another product, really? You want us to try something else? I already have a CRM. And SherWeb, and then as I got to know the Nimble folk and Kevin, who you'll hear after me, a little better, I realized that what Nimble was doing is actually addressing a gap that we had, but also probably many, many customers have. And so we had one particular customer who had just come to us saying, you know, we think Dynamics might be the right solution for us, but we're really not sure. And they were a little bit jaded because they'd already had another third-party product which hadn't really delivered for them and cost them a lot of money. And so we knew we had to take them sort of gently through how to get a CRM really giving value and giving a return on that investment. And then looking further about, you know, what niche applications they may need to have other solutions. And we're already looking with them where Dynamics will need, deliver what they need, but it's not to everybody. It's to a particular group that has a particular need, and therefore they're more likely to get satisfaction out of that investment. So this particular organization, they're a digital marketing agency to the automotive industry. And for them, it was just, they weren't, you know, they're very cost conscious. They have gone through a reorg recently and a restructure. So we knew for them to be successful with Dynamics, they just didn't have the budget that it would take to really make sure those processes were were built out the way they needed them, and so therefore was probably going to lead to dissatisfaction further down the line if they had just gone with a Dynamics approach. So Nimble just came along at the right time, and they jumped on pretty quickly, and you'll hear this from Kevin as well. They saw how easy it was to use, how well it integrated with their Office 365, which they live in, like many of us, and also how to get connected to social profiles. LinkedIn is something they use a lot, but again, they really weren't investing in things like LinkedIn Navigator. So really, how to better pull everything together for them, and definitely Nimble helped them on that one. And to date, they're still in their initial trial, but they keep adding licenses all the time. So we definitely at Amaxtra consider that this one was definitely a success, and we will continue to work with them as they further deploy Nimble within their environment. So some of the things that they really liked about Nimble that just really made it straightforward was relationship management for the entire team. So they could very quickly get in and see how engagement was going with customers across their organization. They had many, many touch points. They have, the initial sales with their customers. They have project management for the projects they're doing, and then they have reporting that goes out. And they were able to see who was touching and when, and being able to make sure that no customer was falling through the cracks. They liked that the dashboard really helped consolidate the business and information, and also included opportunities, appointments, and to-dos. So they, again, very easily could see what was going on across their whole customer environment. Also, as I mentioned before, the social media lead generation, as Jon showed, definitely was something very interesting to them. The ability to be able to scrape a site, pull that information straight into their CRM, and then have it integrate with whatever other systems further down the line they needed to have that information working with. So being able to record activities very quickly and being able to get those right in their system that everybody had visibility to has been something they have come back and said is just phenomenal. And also the integration with Outlook, because again, Outlook is where we live. I know as more and more of us want to use Teams, we're trying to get some of that project management out of the big email bucket, but it still is where the email comes in. So being able to very quickly tag interest, get that into their CRM, and again, give that visibility and create those activities and engagement history was something that they really felt was very easy for them to do without a lot of extra investment. And we already talked about Outlook, being able to sync with Outlook contacts. And really, I think the way I see Nimble now that I've had a little bit more to do with it is it's like this integrator that is sitting in the middle of everything. And, as Jon said, even if the customer is using other products like Salesforce or other things, Nimble can still be that integrator so that you're able to give them a solution, even if it's not a longer term. You may not provide the solution that they use all the time, but you absolutely can provide an integrated solution that means you still are able to get involved with their environment and provide value. And certainly from Amaxtra, we're seeing a lot of customers where, again, Dynamics is a wonderful product, and we absolutely, continue to see the power that platform does. But for SMB, sometimes it is just challenging. It isn't a straightforward out-of-the-box product to implement. If somebody just installs it, they don't necessarily know what to do, and therefore they have to make further investment. And for SMB, they sometimes won't. So really being able to add on that extra Nimble license at $20 per user per month, often that will provide the extra usability that was just missing from Dynamics initially, if that is the way they want to go. So definitely that integration layer is what I think Nimble's really aha is, if you're looking for an aha for the value. And again, calendar integration we've already talked about. And of course, integration with Teams and Skype for Business as well. So all of these communication channels you're having with customers all can be integrated back into the CRM for everybody else to have visibility to using Nimble. And this is one that, when I first was starting to look at Nimble, it was like, okay, again, why Nimble? There's a lot of good marketing automation solutions out there. And Amaxtra, we internally use Click Dimensions historically because we've been using it with Dynamics for many years. But, this was, again, one that I saw where the majority of customers, especially again in the SMB space, what they're wanting to do is send out emails. Yes, they want to do landing pages and they want to do tracking on the website and all of those things, but often they don't have even the resources to be able to look at that. The one thing they want to be able to do is enable their account managers to send out emails, at Amaxtra, we run an event the third Friday of every month about coffee, and it still would take somebody, a marketing person to send out the communication on that, not the account manager. And what Nimble lets you do is that one-to-many mail from the account manager's perspective to their contacts, and then still hand over the deeper marketing requirements, such as website tracking and who's coming to your website and who's doing all those kinds of things, can still be done with a proper full marketing automation product, of which there are many solutions out there. And Nimble is not professing to be a marketing automation solution, but if you would ask most account managers, 9 out of 10 are going to say, I want to get emails out. I don't want to have to put a request into my marketing organization. And I just want to be able to see who opened it so I can then follow up with them, or didn't open it so I can also follow up with them. And it's great that Nimble has that capability right within the product, because it basically, again, takes the pressure off the marketing department for every marketing activity. So definitely one that we're looking at also internally within Amaxtra, so that not all the marketing has to be centralized on a marketing team. And of course, the sales pipeline visibility, being able to see what's going on, very easy. Where are things at? How to track them? This also is very helpful, again, within an organization where they just don't have that visibility, or it's locked on somebody's spreadsheet that nobody has access to. So again, Nimble for a not big investment allows a customer to very quickly be able to see status of where they might be losing. Maybe they're qualifying, but they're not closing the deals, and so on. And again, our automotive marketing company really found this extremely valuable. And as I've already talked about, ultimately, as a Microsoft partner, Dynamics is a product that I want to sell into my customers. But I did have that challenge in that SMB space. It was just that one area where, a smaller customer, usually, 15 or less people, even 25 or less people, Dynamics, just for them to really implement it properly, would have taken a lot more process, a lot more consulting. And Nimble, in a way, actually provides that interim layer. That means they don't have to make that expensive investment of thousands of dollars to work out to make Dynamics actually deliver for them. And as I said, Dynamics is still very powerful. There are some solutions that it is the right solution for a customer, but you can lead them there gently rather than it's either a yes or a no. And this is often what we would find in the SMB space. We would demonstrate Dynamics to them, and it just was something they would say no, and then you really had no comeback. Now you can lead them there gently, even if you feel Dynamics is ultimately the right solution for them. And then Nimble happily sits in the middle, really user-friendly, really integrates well, and still handles all of that easy integration with Outlook, LinkedIn, and so on. But then they can use Dynamics for those users who really need to get more, such as integration with other solutions and the power that Dynamics really brings. So in a way, it was interesting that Nimble actually re-lit up, and I know that's not even good English, a lot of opportunities for us that we had to just consider we couldn't do anything with. And I think the fact that Microsoft is now also stating that they see Nimble very much as the SMB CRM solution is really enabled us to go back to some of those opportunities and then say, okay, so maybe not all 20 of your users need Dynamics, but let's get the 5 who really can use it, and let's have everybody else using Nimble. That is still an opportunity that would have been lost to us. So this is something where we're really seeing opportunity between Dynamics, Office 365, and of course, Nimble. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to Kevin, if somebody would move the slides over. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rosalind. Cyril, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with the group. Rosalind, your team has been fantastic to work with. Julie House has been great. The rest of the team as well. All the deals that you've processed and the pipeline that you've built, super appreciated. You're bringing the power of Nimble to your customers, and we are looking forward to continuing our relationship with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with everybody a little bit about how you get started with Nimble and the support that we provide to you to help you to be successful. It's interesting, when we started the Early Adopters program, Cyril introduced us to 10 partners, and it was great to work with those organizations to take them through our process, our critical path to getting up and running with Nimble, using it themselves, and also to bringing it to the market. But as word got out, ultimately, at this point, organically, we ended up now, we have 36 partners from SherWeb that are working with us. And we hope that every one of you that are on the phone today will be working with us as well. And I look forward to speaking with all of you. So we know that there's a lot of competing priorities that you have, and I think that Rosalind did a great job in understanding why you should prioritize Nimble. But I want to provide you with a bit of a summary to make sure that we're both on the same page, because Nimble really, really is a tremendous opportunity, not just to add to your revenue per user and your monthly reoccurring revenue, but also to seed your accounts strategically to generate additional revenues for you going forward by providing the other Microsoft products. So as we've mentioned, we are endorsed by Microsoft as a simple smart CRM for Office 365, and we're totally capitalizing on this huge migration of small and medium-sized businesses that are moving to the cloud to a great degree because of Office 365. In the cloud, integrating applications becomes much easier. Also, experiencing new sorts of solutions and trying new sorts of solutions much, much easier than the on-premise world where you had to set things up on a server, have an administrator, all those other things that you used to have to do that you no longer have to do with cloud-based applications. We're filling that gap that Rosalind so eloquently highlighted, that gap that Microsoft has in their product offering for the small, medium-sized businesses. Dynamics is a great product, but it's not the place that people typically want to start. So we're extending the value of Office 365 for those customers. We're giving them the opportunity to strategically leverage CRM as part of their business. CRM used to be viewed as a nice to have application. Today, CRM is very much of a have to have application, and we're providing something that people love to use. It's easy to administer, and it's really, really affordable. As I mentioned, we're providing a gateway, and John highlighted this as well, but we have this strategy that we're working with Microsoft on to provide a gateway to allow people to upgrade to Dynamics, but also to leverage the Power Suite of applications. The first one that's going to be coming out is going to be Power BI, and it's going to be in a quarter or two that we release that integration. But we'll also open the door for workflow automation with Power Apps, and then as well as with Flow, and then also to create custom apps by leveraging Power Apps. And there's some wonderful use cases that we've already identified within our pipelines with our partners that are getting set up for companies when they get to that point. What I'm also want to touch upon is that we believe that in order for you to be successful with Nimble, you need an opportunity to experience, to understand the use cases of it. And we also want to contribute to your success as a partner. So as part of this launch, we're providing you with a free Nimble account, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. So we set up a program with SherWeb, and there's a landing page. There's the URL, and through the GoToWebinar interface and the emails that will go out after this, you'll get a copy of this presentation. But go to this URL and sign up for your free account. It'll provide you with 5 licenses for your team, and it will give you an opportunity to leverage it and use it for your own company. We have a huge percentage of our resellers that use Nimble as their primary CRM, even if they had Dynamics before, because Nimble is simpler and easier, and it's more appropriate for those companies. We also have them using Nimble as a sales enablement tool on top of Dynamics too. But go ahead and get your free Nimble account, share it with your other team members that are customer facing that could speak to your customers and prospects about their relationship management needs, and start learning about Nimble. Built into the application, we have a number of resources that make it easy for you to get started. We're very, very focused on the success of our partners and the success of our customers. So we built into the tool an onboarding checklist that takes you through the 7 key setup steps, as well as in-app tutorials, as well as a full set of resources to provide you with assistance such as one-on-one phone support, email support, access to our knowledge base, our YouTube channel, in-app chat, etc. So it's really easy for you to get started. But if you do have questions, we have our team, we call them the success team, and they're available to answer any questions to help you get set up. And of course, as you do implementations, they'll be able to help you with that too. What we find is that partners very quickly learn Nimble and they master the whole process. But we want you to be confident right away and not feel that you have to become an expert in Nimble in order to be able to start generating revenue and bringing it to your customers, because we have your back. We're here to support you. We're here to guide you. We're here to be part of your team to bring Nimble out to your customers. And part of that is marketing resources and implementation resources. SherWeb presents to you on its website our marketing literature. It's all sorts of documents, including product sheets. We have our PowerPoint presentations, so you have an initial pitch to Nimble that you could customize for each presentation with your logo, the name of the customer, etc. We also provide an outstanding battle card, and I encourage you either to have that up on your screen or to print it out. It's a two-sided document, and just have it at the ready as you start talking with customers and prospects about Nimble. We also want you to promote Nimble on your website. So we put together a set of website assets that you can download. You could leverage the HTML, and you could set up a presence for Nimble on your website so that customers can find you and they can engage with you and work with you to launch Nimble for their companies. In addition to this, we have a number of getting started guides and tutorials. I'll talk a little bit about the multiple pathways that partners take to get started with Nimble. But one of them is that customers buy Nimble, they generate the commissions based upon that, and they give them a getting started guide, and the customer is able to self-implement. This is more when it's a smaller, 1 user, 2 user, 3 user, 4 user sort of an organization. The other tools that we provide that we have found are extremely valuable to our partners are materials such as scoping workbooks, where you'll be able to understand what are the services I can provide around Nimble and the service revenues that I could generate, and how can I scope out what an implementation would be so I can propose it. Along the lines of proposals, we have a wonderful template called a discussion document where you could lay out, this is what we heard, this is what we're proposing that we're going to do, this is what it will cost, this is how much time it would take. Of course, you would use your standard SOW as a legal document contract to do the work. We also have configuration planning guides and configuration checklists, so you can easily walk through step by step what steps are entailed in deploying a full Nimble implementation. Not all the steps would apply to all customers. There's also links to take you to the knowledge articles on each element of that. So again, we're making it really easy. If you have a business analyst in your company, you could delegate it to the business analyst and they could easily take care of the implementation side of a Nimble deployment. What we also have is a prepackaged administrator training program. And then most importantly, at this stage, when you're getting started, we provide you with one-on-one coaching. I'll provide in a second information on how to get in touch with me, but I would love to have a consultation with you, talk about your company, understand what your goals and objectives are, and create a common plan for helping you to go to market successfully and to bring the power of Nimble to your customers. And that includes us doing demos for you. We do understand that day one, it's hard to be an expert at the demo, but we'll provide you with resources to join you on sales calls, to do demos, to address reviewing requirements of customers, to provide sales support, and then, as we mentioned, implementation support. Some of the resources that we have to support our partners and our customers are highlighted on this slide. I provided links to make it easy for you to get to them, to use them, but again, in summary, email support@nimble.com. Every day we have a question and answer webinar for both partners and customers. It's a great opportunity for your employees to ask questions after they've played with Nimble for a little bit. We have an outstanding knowledge base or support page that you just type in your question. Nimble will give you the detail on how to address that question and how to use the application for that purpose. Talked about our Nimble Getting Started guides, our YouTube channel, our in-app video tutorials, and our Nimble blogs, which feature everything from case studies, which I'll talk about in a second, to training and knowledge on how to sell more effectively, social sales and marketing, and other topics that are really relevant to our customer base. We always believe in education and ongoing education as a key to ongoing success. As it relates to success stories, what I've provided here is some links to some of the success stories that are on our blog. But the important thing that I want you to get from this as part of your getting on top of or onboarded into the Nimble program is this gives you an understanding of how different companies use Nimble to accomplish their goals. Different goals and different priorities for different sorts of customers, but they're all meeting those goals with Nimble. This way, when you see a company or a prospect with a similar sort of a need, you'll be able to align with that. The last one on here is an interesting one. What we've been finding is that some of our customers really have developed an expertise in a certain vertical. And the How to Be Nimble in Real Estate write-up, that success story, not only provides stories about how real estate professionals are transforming their businesses and growing by using Nimble, but it also provides best practices for that vertical, how Nimble should be set up, what use cases should be supported, and other wonderful information such as that. So I mentioned that there's multiple paths that companies go through, that resellers go through, that partners like you go through, because we don't want you to feel that it's one size fits all. So as I mentioned, many resellers, they begin by selling licenses. In doing so, they get customers that start asking for questions, and they start asking for services, and it helps them to kind of wade into the water and to get their chops developed, to build that muscle of how to go about implementing Nimble and supporting customers. They leverage us for sales and implementation support. There's a number of partners, and Rosalind is one of them, that does partner to partner, where partners work with other partners for certain services that they're not ready to provide or that they don't provide. So an example of that might be leveraging certain integrations or custom integrations, which you could also do with Nimble beyond our embedded integration engine. But there's other services too, training services, etc. So we encourage that and we facilitate that so that you have the resources you need to be successful and help the customer be successful. And I do want you to understand that Nimble does still fit in really well with the managed services offering, and I could provide you with an overview of that, but basically there's a life cycle that a customer goes through with Nimble. There's the startup, there's the training, and then they're raising the bar on an ongoing basis. They have certain strategic initiatives that they want Nimble to support. And then we're always releasing new features. So Nimble fits in very well with that whole paradigm of managed services, and it's a value add that you could also provide to your customers. I think that I've hit on some of the highlights here. We have many partners, especially if they understand CRM or have used a CRM, they hit the ground running. They're coming to us with deals. They're growing their pipeline. They're generating a lot of revenue. And ultimately, we're going to get everyone to that point, but people start at different points of the journey, and we're here and we're ready to support you with that. So in summary, as our next steps, what I suggest that you do is contact your account manager if you have questions. They'll be able to address them. They'll help you understand how to procure Nimble through your system, but they'll also be able to help you interact with us. My information is going to be provided to you as well, but they're a key resource for you. Get your free Nimble account. Sign up today. Don't wait. It's going to help you to sell and market more effectively. It's going to help you to become familiar with Nimble's features as well as its use cases. So here's the link for activating the account. Schedule a one-on-one session with us or with the care team if you have questions about using Nimble for your own company. And then promote Nimble and build your pipeline. Start immediately talking to your customers and your prospects about how do you manage relationships? How do you protect data from employee turnover? How do you have accountability around your pipeline? And how do you become aware of the timing of transactions that are coming in? How do you support strategic initiatives? And you're going to find that they're still doing things, paper, pencil, email, spreadsheets, very dysfunctional. And you're also going to find that they're concerned. They're concerned that their competition is practicing CRM and that they're falling behind and that they want some help, but they're afraid of Salesforce and in some cases Dynamics, the complexity. Leverage us for sales support, leverage us for demo support and implementation support, and work with us to develop your service offerings so that you could generate substantial services revenue around Nimble. My background is in building consulting firms that implement CRM, and my companies have generated millions and millions of dollars in services revenues just implementing CRM. So there's a tremendous opportunity there for you as well. So with that, again, I want to thank everybody that has helped us to this point, and I want to welcome all of you that are on this call. We're super stoked, very excited to be working with you. And with that, Cyril, I'd like to turn it back to you, and let's take some questions and provide some answers.
That's great. Thank you very much, guys, for your help on that. It's very, very interesting. We got good feedback in the chat area. Please don't hesitate to ask more questions. That's really the right time to shoot them. So let's start with what we have here on the screen. So first question. So part of the demo, you show the Outlook web interface, So someone wanted to confirm if there is a plugin for the desktop Outlook or everything has to be done online.
So I'll go ahead and take that, Cyril. And that's a great question. So when you add Nimble from the add-in store, from Office 365, from Outlook Mobile or Outlook Desktop, it's automatically added in the other respective places. So if you have Outlook Mobile, Outlook Desktop, and Office, or any one of those in use, you just go into the add-in section from the interface of wherever you're at, mobile, desktop, or Office 365. And once you add Nimble, the button then shows up inside of Outlook Mobile, Outlook Desktop, and Office 365. Plus, it also shows up in the Office 365 calendar. If you want to use Nimble in the contacts, Microsoft doesn't have a plugin API for that. So you just plug our browser plugin, and then Nimble then not only works inside of Office 365 contacts, but also inside Dynamics and anywhere else you might be engaging.
That's great. There is a question about, importing existing CRM data. And this context, this person is asking, so part of Office 365 Business Premium, there is a very light CRM called Outlook Business Contact Manager. So someone is asking, is it possible to import existing CRM data from Outlook Business Contact Manager to Nimble?
So let me go ahead and answer that. The great thing about Nimble is there's a wizard when you onboard, and we can automatically import over, I think it might be 180 plus SaaS business apps. So if a customer has an existing CRM, more than likely Nimble has the ability to not only import, but synchronize with them. So that means that Nimble can work with a customer if they have HubSpot or Pipedrive or Zoho or Salesforce or Dynamics or any other CRM. In regards to Outlook Customer Manager, that's simply a plugin into Office 365 and Outlook that allows you to do some basic tasks and notes and deals. But from what I understand, there doesn't exist a platform where those contacts are actually stored. So I think those contacts are just Office 365 contacts. And because Nimble bidirectionally synchronizes Office 365 contacts, all of those contacts would automatically be in Nimble. So if somebody is using Outlook Customer Manager, Nimble will synchronize the contacts, but there is no API for the notes and tasks and deals that are in Outlook Customer Manager, and they probably would want to start doing those functions within Nimble in the future.
Okay, thank you. In the same subject, so you presented that Nimble is the great tool, to start CRM, starting to better manage relationship. How is it going to be for a customer to move from Nimble to Dynamics 365? Let's say that in the future they need very advanced features.
Sure.
What would be the path for that?
So because Nimble bidirectionally synchronizes with all of those contacts from all of those apps, if they have Dynamics today in Office, the beautiful thing about Nimble is that unifies Office and Dynamics contacts into Nimble and then lets you use that combined contacts back in Office, inside of Dynamics, or inside of any app that your team might be using, like their accounting or marketing, or anywhere you're prospecting, and all those contacts that you add are then automatically put back in the places that you determine. If they don't have Dynamics and they're starting out with Nimble as their simple CRM, and as they grow, they need more complexities in workflow, automation, customization, reporting, etc., then you can upgrade them to an instance of Dynamics, and all the contacts that they already added in Nimble would automatically be put in Dynamics, and then they would just start using Dynamics for whatever workflow or whatever data you want them to put into there. But the beautiful thing is that any contact that's added or edited in Nimble is automatically updated in Dynamics. So all the beautiful enrichment that we do with contact and company data and contact info when you're prospecting automatically goes back inside of Dynamics, and then Nimble works inside of Dynamics. So it's an easy transition into Dynamics, and in the future we'll make it even easier. We're having conversations with Microsoft about making it a simple button that actually creates a Dynamics instance that has a layer of Nimble on top, and it's just really transparent as far as getting the value of Nimble into Dynamics and making that a one-button push. But now, if you sell them Dynamics, Nimble contacts would automatically be in Dynamics, so they'd be hitting the ground running.
Okay, that's great. So someone was asking about, so I think it was you, Kevin, that spoke about Power BI and Power Apps. Someone was asking what will be those kind of features that you will add in Nimble with Power BI and Power Apps.
So the idea behind Power BI, Flow, and Power Apps is that if you gave Power BI to a customer, they probably wouldn't be able to figure out how to write a report. It's hard. And even some partners, right? They don't have the skill set to, from the ground up, build a Power BI report. And that's why having Power BI, Flow, and Power Apps integrated into Nimble with basic reports already built into the dashboard of Power BI, some basic workflow already built into Flow, and some templates of custom screens already built with Power Apps, then you, the partner, can go in and tailor those existing things, beginning to learn about how to use Power BI, Flow, and Power Apps, and then using that as a means to add value, because every customer wants one thing and every customer's one thing is different. And so by using the combination of Power BI, Flow, Power Apps, and Common Data Services, Nimble becomes the junction of the unification of contacts, but then it also becomes the building off point for you to then build all the different things that the customer needs, including net new applications in Azure that then automatically tie back into Nimble.
Okay, sounds good. Someone is asking what kind of services a partner should add on the top of the licensing.
Kevin, you want to take that ball?
I would be delighted to. So the core services that they'd add would be helping them to make decisions about creating their central database. While we have wonderful functionality for bringing in data from other sources, in a larger organization, you really want to be very planful about the quality of the data. So you might pull data from your ERP system or your accounting system because you know it's accurate, you know that it's clean, and then you may want to enhance the data with additional fields and then upload that all at one time. We actually provide a data mapping template for you to do that and to provide those services. But the other services that are commonly provided would include planning out the configuration. So talking with the client about, how do you use the database? What are these spreadsheets that you're maintaining? Let's take a look at them. What are some of the goals that you have going forward? How do you want to segment the database? And then planning out what fields would be used, when you would use tags, how you'd go about executing campaigns, just planning out the workflows around marketing, things of that sort. On the other side of the spectrum, once the system is set up, providing some protocol-based training around how we use Nimble at our company is also really, really valuable. So if you would say that Nimble has 50 features or 100 features or however many features you'd want to identify, for a particular company starting up, they really may only need 5. And they'll always raise the bar once they've done that. But defining the protocols and then training the users on how they would use those 5 features to do their job is a valuable thing as well. Training an administrator is also an opportunity, especially with a larger customer. And we provide a pre-packaged administrator training program as part of that service. One service that I skipped over that's in the middle of that is building out the configuration, setting up the fields, setting up the users, guiding the users on how to connect their social identities, how to integrate to their business productivity suite. That's a service as well. And then on an ongoing basis, strategically to consult with the customer about what's the next stage, how are we going to raise the bar? And then with new features that come out around Nimble to provide consulting around implementing those features. So that would be somewhat of a full implementation. But as I mentioned, with the smaller customers, many partners are seeding their accounts with licenses, providing them with a couple of days of services of support, and then working with the customer on an as-needed basis to help them get deeper into CRM strategy. I hope that's helpful. And
Kevin,
I'd definitely be happy to talk
I'd like to add one thing to that. If you think about every business, They're siloed contacts in sales, marketing, customer service, accounting, and then each team member has a contact database inside their office, which is a separate contact database for every team member. And so what Nimble does is it goes in and unifies all those disparate contacts for a team relationship manager, and then we'll work back inside those applications so that they can bring those contacts into the flow of the engagement to get the history of interactions and into the follow-up and follow-through. So if I was a partner, I'd go in and first off sell that as a vision and a value, and then do an audit of what apps do they use, what contacts do they have, and what data do they want to unify besides the contact data, like custom fields from those various applications, into Nimble, and then teach the various team members how to use Nimble inside their email and then back where they work to have team collaboration.
Excellent.
That's great. Thank you. I think we're going to take that's the last question. So for the PySync required, for Office 365, what kind of levels you need to fully integrate with Nimble?
So with Nimble, it comes free for the first 2 weeks, unlimited contacts, and that's when you would go ahead and unify all the disparate contacts into a cohesive whole. And then you have up to 2,000 free contacts to keep in sync for each account. And so you can determine what contacts you do want to keep in sync. And then if they want to have more contacts in sync, you can then go ahead and upgrade the customer to licenses and actually make margin on that. And PySync has a NFR copy of PySync available for resellers. And so if you sign up to be a reseller, you can get your own internal use rights license for yourself. And then it's another opportunity to make additional margin on top of Nimble.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So really, I think one of the call to action is really get your Nimble account. Like Kevin say, you have the link. And again, don't forget to download the slides just in the handout, because we got discussion a couple of times. And that's great. I really want to thank you, Jon, Rose, Kevin. Thank you very much for your help. I think it was very interesting. We got a lot, by the way, we got a lot of good feedback in the chat and question. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Cyril.
I want to give a shout out to Rosalind, because Rosalind, you spearheaded it as SherWeb, as a SherWeb partner, and did it so well with your company, Amaxra. Kevin, thank you so much for always adding value. And Cyril, I just want to say that I am extremely impressed with SherWeb as an organization, and with you as our contact person. We really value SherWeb and their partners, and looking forward to helping the partners grow and helping them help their customers grow.
Thank you, Jon. Thank you very much. Everyone, have a good day. And don't hesitate to share the recording. We'll receive it in a couple of days. And hope to get you soon on a call to close some Nimble. Have a great day. Thank you very much.